Good morning, Dan from DJMoore Lofts, and today we are in a little village on the outskirts of Biggleswade, a property that we're all getting set up. We've got N-Dog here, Nathan, just getting set up ready. We've got our loft lifter around the corner, just coming in now, I believe, just trying to park up. A little bit tight for access. I don't know if you can see through the bushes, but yeah, it's a little bit tight getting down this road, so it's just going to be a bit of jiggly getting that through here. But we've got a nice little loading bay all set up. So this one, we're creating a master bedroom, ensuite and dressing area with a flat roof dormer going in this area here. Nice big 9.5 metre wide flat roof dormer. But today, basically what we're doing is getting all set up, take delivery of the materials. We're not quite finished on the last project just yet, so we've probably got another 2 to 3 days on the last job. We've had some heavy rains recently that's just slowed us a little bit. But with the loft lifters, we have to book these kind of like a week and a half, 2 weeks in advance. So this date hasn't been able to move basically, so we can't postpone it back. So no matter what, when I speak to our clients, I always explain that, look, this is the day we're aiming for, subject to weather or any issues that come up, but no matter what, we'll start on that day, take delivery, get set up, so then when we can come back at a later date, we can hit the ground running. But what we're doing now is this one's got 2 spine beams, so Nathan's just creating a hole at the moment ready for one of the spine beams, and then we've got another one just on the other side of this saw pipe. But whilst we've got a little bit of downtime whilst we're getting set up, let's give you a little rundown of the structural calcs and the plans. So here are our plans. So again, I'm using these new ToughCAD plans now. We're getting them all printed on these, which are amazing because they stand up to everything. But with the space that we've got on this design here, you'll see here we've got the ensuite that we're doing here, and then this is the new master bedroom, 3 windows along the back, and then this is the dressing area. That's what we're kind of creating, and then we're messing around with the existing floor plan to accommodate for the stairs to go up and over the existing, and that's what we're kind of doing at the back. So we've got flat roof dormer at the back, a couple of Veluxes at the front, which is nice. And structurally, if I show you this again, I was candidly trying to block the address out as well, just so we don't show you anything like that, just in case. What's they call it? Oh, I forgot now. I was going to call it, not NDA, no, it's the wrong word. Data breach. I can't remember now. Cut all that out, Lewis. Sorry. So the calcs we've got here. So this is what I was saying. So we've got these 2 spine beams that are going either side of this apex, basically at the front. At the back here, we've got this window, which is that window down there. Don't know if you can see it, but basically we've got a bridge, a bit of steel across there. Got a nice ridge beam along the top, 152, 152. But these 2 spine beams are basically splitting the lofts into thirds. So the idea being is that basically instead of us running a steel from left to right, well, we wouldn't be able to do that in this scenario because of the stairs anyway, but if you can imagine trying to run a steel left to right, the steel would be quite a large size, which would then eventually restrict head height and so on and so forth. So by us putting the 2 beams either side, it just helps us spread the load in and keep everything as low as possible. You see our little connection detail with regards to the jiffies being nailed on, our ridge detail and stuff like that. Sometimes we do this slightly differently. We'll put the ridge in between, then jiffy in either side, or spit nail the timbers and notch it around the jiffy, around the steel, just to make it nice and solid. But yeah, structurally, that is what we're working with. So what we'll do, let's get this lorry parked up into place, and we'll do a little run round whilst we're cracking on, if that's all right. Let's go. Nice and shiny new lorry. I think it's a 24 plate, and it's got to get through there. This is where the fun begins. So like I just touched on, not all of this on this lorry is ours, but a fair chunk of it. But those white long bits that you can see there are our spine beams, so that's what Nathan is just opening up now, getting set up for. But yeah, all this untreated timber is ours effectively. But look at that, that literally is brand spanking new. Thing is, these drivers are used to working in London, so they're used to really tight spaces, thankfully, which helps. And these vehicles have actually got rear steer on them as well, so they're quite manoeuvrable, surprisingly, for such a big wagon. I think that's why they use them, really, is because they are perfect in these kind of scenarios, not only here, but in London and stuff like that. But yeah, it's perfect. So like I say, this is one of our spine beams. So what we've got is slightly different on here. Normally we'd have an angled chamfer each end, but basically that end on that one is square, just because we've got to do some connection details over over a window, sorry. A bit flustered this morning. But yeah, we'll just get set up and we'll get this loft lifter going. So we're all set up now after that little time lapse of the crane getting geared up, ready to go. So we're just lifting the first lift. We're lifting the first lift. We are lifting the first item, which is half of our plasterboard. So we use the smaller board, 6x3, 12.5mm square edge plasterboards on all our builds pretty much. So on this scenario, I think we've got like over 100 boards. So what they do is split it in half. So we've got 50 up there going at the moment. Just purely because from a weight issue, the crane trying to lift them at full reach may struggle. So that's why they split it, but it helps us logistically as well because we can spread the load around on the scaffold. But yeah, so the crane is set up and lifting. But what we're trying to get to is that white steel that I'm referring to. Because it is just a setup day, the plan of action is always to just get the stills in place whilst we've got the crane, make the most of it. And then we can always, the pressure is off basically, we can then pop back at a later time. But if we can get that main spine beam in place, we're golden. And then whilst we have the crane here, obviously we will be offloading and uploading. God, probably the worst video I've done yet for talking and making mistakes, Jesus. Yeah, so we'll offload and load all the materials up onto the scaffold that we can. This one's slightly different in the sense of we've got a nice loading bay here, but at the back we've got a conservatory and a lean-to roof, so the whole back scaffold, as much as there is a scaffold there, it's all beams and stuff like that, so it's quite difficult to put any weight on there, but I'll show you what I mean by that. We've got a nice big conservatory and then we've got this lean-to roof here, so there's like 10 metres worth of beams there. So by right we shouldn't be putting a great deal of weight there, just because what we don't want to do is start the bowing and buckling the beams, because scaffolder Neil will get the ump with us understandably. But yeah, look at that for a mean machine from the front. Do love a crane. I don't know why, just love a crane. Love flashing beacons on my own little van as well. Feel like I'm important then. But yeah, our driver's just coming back down. He'll probably hook up the other sheet of plasterboard now. We've got our Veluxes here, so on this one we've got two SK06s, which are there. Same thing again, using the crane just helps lift everything up there. And I mean, for what I pay for this lift, in the grand scheme of things, it's so cost effective because it helps no end. What we'll do is we'll cut back to once we're getting these spine beams in place, and we'll show you that as well, because then we'll jump up into the loft, see what we're playing with and the existing stuff. We have got water tanks in there, and part of our build, we've actually quoted to put a megaflow or an unvented system into it. So we're converting from a gravity fed system to a pressurized system. So we're going to be putting a new unvented tank in the existing airing cupboard. Hopefully we're going to do that next week. I know our plumber was out here last week doing all the pressure testing, checking pipe routes and stuff like that, making sure it is all feasible. And I believe he's ordered the tank and everything as well. So we'll touch base on that in the coming videos once that's installed and release the space from the tank area. Maybe that might be worth a standalone video in its own right. Let us know in the comments if you're interested in knowing a little bit more around that, how we get around gravity fed systems and having to change to a pressurized. But yeah, let us know. Let's go get some stills inside the loft. We've got Jamie over there. Inside's on the ones and twos. So what he's just doing is what he's just done there. So he's basically cleared the channel for where that spine beam's going. So that's what he's doing on this side. He's cutting all the bracings out, noggins, clearing it all out. But when I come and done the pre-start meeting a few weeks ago, I've marked out, oh sorry mate, we've marked out where the spine beams are going. I don't know if you can see that on there. So that's enabled me to take all my measurements and get the stills ordered. But then what that does is actually help them when they come to do the first fix or put in this stage here, is then they know where I've intended for the stills to go. They have got structural counts to measure it and so on and so forth, but on a day like today, we're trying to get everything in is critical. Being able to see it and just realise exactly where it's going just makes life a lot easier. But yeah, nice little space up here really. And then this is what I was talking about. We've got tanks up here at the moment. I did check and make sure that there's no pipe work in the way so that it wouldn't affect for today, day one. But that is on our radar to get changed in the coming weeks, as I already mentioned. Look at that for a shot. Still in the background with the crane. So we're just prepping now to put this in. So you see there, Nathan's got a scaffold pole. So what we do is halfway in roughly, put it on the pole. We'll drop it down, take off one of the chains and move the other chain further back and lift it up, and then we'll just slowly roll it in, basically, is what the plan of action is. But it sounds like what they're just referring to there is the bearing plates. So some people will use what they call pad stones. Very popular, very common. For me, a little bit outdated now, I guess. I mean, so they've got their place. They've certainly got their place. But our engineer is a big fan of what we call bearing plates. So it's a metal plate, thin metal plate that spreads the bearing or spreads the load of the steel. So in most scenarios, you'd have a concrete pad stone. So you'd cut that timber out, put a pad stone in, and you would form it either in concrete, or even some people use lintels and make their own pad stones. But what we use is what's called a bearing plate. So it's like 100 by 20 mil typically, but depending on the length, sometimes it's 450, sometimes it's 300, depending on the load. With these spine beams, normally they are a little bit bigger, just because obviously that is a massive point load and everything is spread onto these beams. But let's just check what we've got on this one. So this is what I'm referring to. Spreader beams, steel bearing plates. So on this one, because the steels are quite small, as much as they're long, they're really lightweight, so they're only 46 kilos a metre. So we've got a 350 by 100 by 20 mil bearing plate, which is tiny in the grand scheme of things. One of the other projects that we're about to go to this afternoon, off the top of my head, I believe they're 550 by 100 by 40 mil thick, but the steels are a lot larger on that one, so then the loading is a lot different. But yeah, here he is with the bearing plates. So this is what I'm referring to. So these thin little metal plates, and he'll put them down and still just sit in the center of them. So then that spreads the load evenly, as opposed to just being 200 mil wide. It's 300 mil wide, and it will just spread the load in, which is very much common practice. But like I say, some people are very much, no, cowboys doing it that way. It's everyone has their own different ways of doing it. It is very much, some people are old school in the sense of use pad stones. We're a lot more modern in the sense of the way that we work. Our engineer is a younger chap, a lot more understanding of the practical terms of how to do stuff at speed and easy. And that's not me having a cop out saying that we're trying to rush shit and do stuff like that, far from it. It is just, our engineer is a little bit better, maybe. I don't know, I don't want to say better than yours, because that's just, yeah. But he is a lot more understanding in this world. So you see here, that's why we've got the chamfer. So on that other end of that steel, so then it tucks in lovely under that roof. Let's jump in there, let's have a little look whilst I do it. So we're going to feed it through that hole. So some eagle viewers might have noticed the other end of that is square, whereas this end is angled. But the reason it is angled is so that it tucks in nicely into this roof space, and if I've done all my measurements right, it should be perfect. So you see where they've got that bearing plate down there? So that's going to slide in. We're now going to put that on this pole towards the end, and then what we'll do is we'll slide it in nicely.
Back there?
Yeah, so now that's the max we can go because the chain's hitting the roof, so we'll put that down. Yeah, we're good. And what we'll do is we'll take that chain off, and we'll probably push the second chain further back, where they might even just slide that. Oh, no, it's coming off. So now, hopefully, if I can set this camera up, cheeky, hands free. Let's reposition it.
So I've got the big boss.
We've got the boss, got the top dog on the ones and twos. Let us know when you've took the weight. There we go. Right, so now what we'll do is slide her in nicely. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. When you're off that handrail. Keep. Yeah? That's the one. Do you need another bear at that end, or will that just go straight on that plate? We can bring it into us another 2 foot or so to that chain hits the roof. Hold on, hold on. Listen, let's bring her in more whilst we've got the chain still there. 1, 2, 3. Bring it in another foot. 1, 2, 3. Drop her and then we'll reposition the chain, lads. Let's sit on that bearer. Yeah, should be. Or you got to say, hold on, 2 secs. You got that, Jay? Oh, sorry. So just give you a little walk around whilst we're not hands-free anymore. So we've just put something temporary underneath that bearing plate so that the chains don't hit the ceiling. But now you'll see we're way past the centre point and we're in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate it. We're going to lift that up ever so slightly, try and keep it pretty much level. Make any more noise, mate? Make a bit more noise while we're at it. Do you know what I mean? Don't get this on Hollywood film sets. So basically what we're trying to do is keep it semi-level, and we're going to slide her in, and then as this end is over that bearing plate, the crane will lift that up, which will then allow us to take this post out, or pole out, and then we can literally use the loft lifter to drop it right down in place. So just pinch her up. A bit more. Yep, keep coming. You right with that, Jay? Go on in. Right, drag her in then. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Didn't move. Didn't move. Right, can we pinch her up a bit? Just slowly. He's going, didn't you? Yeah, but just pinch her up slowly. Right, boom. That's it for now. Right, we're going to slide in. We need to come 200 mil to land it.
Right, 1, 2, 3. Can we go up a little bit more?
Can we go up a little bit more?
Yeah.
Right.
Slide that by, didn't you?
We need to come in. We need to come in.
Alright, 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, right, lift her right up now. Yeah. So, oh, so now we're down on that bearer. Lift her up. Whoa, that's enough. Pole comes out.
Yeah, sweet.
Just watch that noggin this side, Nath. What? As it comes down, there's a noggin this side. Look on the other side of the still. Hold on. Oh, this side. Yeah, so just keep an eye on that. So now what we'll do is we'll lift it down. Yeah, land it. We'll come down and we're in place. Which is lovely. So, weight-wise, we've not actually lifted a great deal there.
Well, you might not have.
I might not. No, the crane has done the majority of the work there, so it has made it as nice and easy, the transition of rolling that in. So now what we've got to do is the second one on this side, but we've got a lovely water tank in the way, so it'll be a bit more fun. But we've got to shoot. We're going to leave these lovely lads to it. It's part 2, as we weren't allowed to leave. So second still is now going in. Nice and easy. It's a little bit easier when you ain't trying to hold a camera. Keep it coming. So then we're going to put her down, replace the chain position and slide her in. So this beam is in, and this is what I was saying about the spreader plate. So that is what we were talking about, the spreader plate. Obviously on this one we are going to have to cut this because I have made a boo-boo and ordered it again 30 mil long. It's better than a metre long.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave that up on the scaffold.
But we're going to leave Happy Jack here. Let him carry on finishing off the rest of the delivery over there. There's not a massive amount left. We're going to shoot over to a second loft lifter now because we've got another delivery in Flitwick. But if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave some comments, and we'll see you again soon. Peace.